Well, guys, this is the beginning. Pat and his 1965 LeMans, right? With what engine in it?
326.
326 engine. Nephew Jeff is backing it off the trailer. Oh my gosh. So this is day one. We're gonna get it in the shop and start the process. We're gonna paint this thing and take it back to the original blue and make it look real pretty so Pat can drive it around from Russellville into town over his gravel road, right? Yep. You're gonna be driving this a lot. It's not gonna sit up and...
It's not gonna be a garage queen.
It's not a garage queen, it's gonna be driven. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Yeah, go towards that door over there and you can just point it straight in and then I'll get it on inside. Look at that. So we're gonna prime it up. We're gonna put some good layers of base coat on it and put some high solids, maybe a 2-to-1 clear, and see how far overboard we can go with this project without going too far overboard. And then the goal is to get it done in, like, I've got 6 weeks to have it done before Labor Day, right? Is it Labor Day?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to get to work and have this thing looking fresh and ready to roll out by Labor Day, and then he can show it off. So here we go. Great beginnings.
You want the top up or down?
For now, we'll leave it, I don't know. That's a good question. All right, so here we are back a couple of days later. It's Tuesday. Just got the Pontiac LeMans in on Sunday. So what's been going on for the last couple of days? Well, I didn't trust the primer that was all over the car. I thought I was just going to sand it 320 head to toe and go ahead and start priming it. And then I realized, you know what? I think a lot of this primer's got to come off. And my thought was that since he rattle canned the primer on the GTO, the rattle can stuff, well, that's lacquer. And we're doing a urethane paint job. And that kind of spooked me because I have seen wrinkling. I've seen major wrinkling, and that usually happens when you've got incompatible chemicals. And I think that lacquer can do that. Enamel definitely will do that up against urethane from what I've heard. So I didn't take a chance. So we went ahead and took this hood down with 80 grit. And I don't know if this yellow primer was there before. I almost thought it was filler, but I think this is just some really seriously old primer. There was no blue on this hood. Pretty much there was some spots, but this could be rattle can primer because like this spot here, that's not the original color. It's supposed to be dark blue. You can see the original color right here. So anyway, we took that down with 80, then went over it with 180, and then I'll finish it in 320 before I put the primer on because I don't want those scratches showing up through the primer. There's nothing worse than doing a job when you get all the way to the base coat and then the clear coat and notice 80 grit scratches. That's not a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and just maybe go with a 180 where the paint is original. That's fine. But here where we've got the rattle can stuff, I've been doing this side in 320 so I don't make as deep scratches. And reason being, there was some body work on the hood. So apparently there was a rust hole here, and Pat, I think, repaired this and welded in a patch panel. And so this is uneven. You can kind of see that there's a ridge here. So I'm going to knock that down with the hammers and the dollies, flatten it out, and then put a skim coat of fiberglass filler first and then body filler. That's what I like to do because the fiberglass, you get that reinforcement and it's less prone to cracking, and then finish it off with the body filler. So we're going to go over just a few spots, put a little fiberglass over here, even out those spots before we go to the primer. Now there wasn't as much rattle can on this side, but I'm taking off all the rattle can. I've got a few spots left over here to cover, and basically Pat put the primer on here to protect it from rusting, which was probably a good thing because at least it didn't rust out, because I'm not finding too much rust at all. There's some pitting back here and there might be, you know, just very slight surface rust here, but overall I think it was a good idea to at least keep the thing protected. I'm stumbling over stuff here. So we still got to do the back panel, and then over the pitted areas I might put a skim coat of filler across here, and maybe a real thin coat of the fiberglass filler top with the regular filler. I just like that combination. That's just my style. And then sand that real good and smooth before we put on the primer, and then we'll move forward. So I'm adding in extra work, even though I did not plan on doing that much, because for what he wants to be able to drive this car. He doesn't want to go crazy. He doesn't want a $20,000 Barrett Jackson style paint job. We're not doing a frame off restoration. And in fact, he doesn't even want to take the trim off. We're going to mask the trim. He wants to drive this, and he lives on a gravel road. So I always go overboard with everything, but I promised him a certain price, and I'm going to give him a quality paint job, probably better than what he is expecting, because I love to do this, and we're going to see if we can get this done in record time. My goal is like 2 weeks. If I can crank this thing out in 2 weeks and be doing some wet sanding, buffing, and polishing, then we're going to call it all good. So that's where we are right now. We're going to finish off the sanding, finish that off, do a little body filler, and then come back once we get all that done right before we shoot the primer, and then maybe I'll throw some video footage of the primer. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I basically use several methods of sanding. I've got an electric file sander, a short electric sander there. I've got orbital sander here, which is basically 5-inch. I've got a DA 6-inch electric sander, and then I got the big boy. This is the monster geared sander. Now the areas where it was pitted, then I use this puppy right here, and this is a monster. Okay, so basically you can set it to DA or direct drive, and when you put it on direct drive, it eats like a monster. In fact, it's too powerful. I just leave it on DA, but this is a very heavy sander, and you can just move it across the panel very slowly and just let it work. And when you keep a good steady motion and go slow, you're not going to have as much damage in pitting or waves or whatever. You'll get a much better surface sanding than what you normally would. So I don't use pneumatic anymore. I use all electric sanders, and in fact I've even got a 20 volt. Let me show you this 20 volt. I love tools. I have a problem with tools. I get a ton of tools. Well, there's the 3-inch electric DA, but then here is the 20 volt right there. And this was great on the sides for taking down the lacquer primer. This is normally good for, say, sanding on clear or sanding on base coat when you're not wanting to do a lot of damage and dig in. I just use it at the low speed. It has 8 speeds. I never turn it up higher than 1. But when you turn it on 1, it can do some work because you're not just skipping across the surface. So that is my 20 volt. I love it. I love it. And then there's another one. I got a 21 volt with a 5-inch pad on it. So lots of tools. Anyway, that's how I did the work up until now. We'll kick back in when we get to the next stage, and I'll keep you posted. This is Carlton with Color Boss Custom Auto Body Shop. And you know how we like to do it. We just shoot it.